You know, I don't know much about the Knights of the Round Table, but in my defense, I do play a lot of Overwatch. And for anyone that do know Overwatch, there's this character called Reinhardt. Now, before I did this video, I had to look at the cinematic short and almost cried, but living with honor and dying with glory is with everything the Knights are about. It is their creed, it is their religion, it is what they breathe. And today I'm going to be showing you a deck profile of Noble Knights, the deck that has the same features as Reinhardt. Not really, they don't carry a big shield and a giant hammer, but you guys get the point. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. I also want to take this time out to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. And welcome to our newest Patreon 7 times in a row. That is so freaking awesome. Joshua Miller, welcome to the clan. Really hoping that you enjoy your stay in Patreon. And if we could get 8 times in a row, we'd be just too strong. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Noble Knight deck profile for this format. Okay, so before we start going into the dynamics of the deck profile, let's pull the sword out of the stone with these stats. Noble Knights are predicated on one thing, being able to abuse their equipped spell cards to gain your Noble Knight monster's additional effects. At points in time, you'll have a really strong Noble Knight monster to your side of the field that can't be targeted, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and possibly will gain 1,000 attack or be able to destroy an opponent's card or even attack directly. I want to say that this deck is pretty expensive for the tier that it is, but that's mainly because the Noble Knight cards, a lot of the older ones, are really hard to get and almost damn near impossible. Thank God for the Battle of Legends Relentless Revenger set, giving you guys ultra rare Medruats and Brothers, or this deck would probably be outrageously expensive. I want to say that this deck at the highest level could compete at a regional level, but I'd feel more comfortable with taking it to a local level event. It's just a really solidly powerful deck that does its own thing. Let's start off with the monsters. We run 3 copies of one of the only Noble Knight monsters or non-Noble Knight monsters that we're going to summon that's not a Noble Knight. 3 copies of Merlin. Now, this card could be played at anywhere between 0 and 3 if you ask me, but the reason why I play it is for consistency. By tributing him, you can special summon one Noble Knight monster from your deck to your side of the field for free. The only drawback is that you can't special summon any other monsters on your side of the field except for Noble Knight monsters. Well, plot twist, more often than not, you're just going to be summoning all Noble Knight monsters anyways. His other 2 effects are rarely used in this particular build. You can banish it during either player's turn to synchro or exceed summon on your opponent's turn, so it's a pretty good effect, but it just isn't used as much as you would hope it to be. Next is 3 copies of Noble Knight Medruat. I apologize if I'm saying these cards' names wrong. I think it's Medruat. I'm not 100% sure. Basically, when this card gets an equip, he becomes a level 5 dark monster, and then he gains an effect. He's a normal monster when he's not equipped. That's kind of crazy that he has an effect to be a normal monster, but his effect is you can special summon a Noble Knight monster from your deck to your side of the field, then destroy the equipped spell. The great thing about most of the equipped spells in the Noble Knight deck is that when they are destroyed, they get to re-equip themselves back to your monsters. Next is 3 copies of the Man with the Plan, the new card in from the set that makes his deck so much better. 3 copies of Noble Knight Custinin. Now, he is so good because the ability to special summon him to your side of the field, as long as you control a Noble Arms card on your side of the field, is practically free. Now, you can only gain Custinin's effect once per turn, but that's not where the sauce comes in. A Synchro, Exceed, or Link Summon using him as material, if you make a Noble Knight monster, gains the effect of allowing you to gain an additional normal summon for a Noble Knight monster that turn. So Custinin is actually your new prime target. I'm just going to call him Mordrake because I think that's his name, is the new prime target to summon for Mordrake. And if you do already have Custinin on your side of the field, you can summon Borz to your side of the field. Back in the old days, Mordrake was used to summon Borz, and then you get off some really cute combos, getting 2 level 5 monsters to your side of the field. But seeing that we don't really run too many equipped spell cards, and we want to get off our E-Soul effect, I actually prioritize Custinin. 3 copies of Noble Knight Brothers. Every time I see this card, I think of that movie called Four Brothers, but I mean, I guess that's beside the point. To be honest with you guys, you can drop him to 2. The reason why I run 3 is because he's just so powerful. When he is normal summon, you can special summon exactly, or you can special summon 2 Noble Knight monsters from your hand to the side of the field. That effect is okay. The best thing about him is that you can select 3 Noble Knight or Noble Arms cards from your graveyard and shuffle them into your deck to draw a card. So you essentially get a mini pot of greed and the effect of a Noble Knight monster. He allows you to reshuffle or shuffle your equipped spell cards back into your deck to get Isol's effect off again, and it's a free draw. He's normally a free card to your side of the field. He's awesome. Next is 1 copy of Noble Knight Drystan. Drystan is pretty awesome, especially since, you know, he's a trigger effect. When he's equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell card, you can destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field, so it's really good at disruption. I like him for that particular reason. Pellinore is almost similar to Drystan, but Pellinore is actually ignition effect, meaning you can only activate him on your main phase 1 and main phase 2, and he actually does get you a draw. So these 2 cards are pretty much pinch Noble Knight monsters, and they allow you to get certain effects depending on how you use them. They're really solid 1-ofs. Lastly is 1 copy of Borz. Through extremely, like a lot of testing, I found that Borz wasn't as useful as he was. You'll find yourself going into Mordred into Borz, and then, you know, you can go through that combo and make a rank 5, and that's it. Or you can just summon Custinin to your side of the field and then make Isol, gain the additional normal summon, and go that way, which is so much more fulfilling in this Noble Knight build. And the reason why Borz is still played at 1 is because, I mean, hell, he's still a normal monster that becomes level 5. He's still a very powerful card and tutors you Noble Knight cards or Noble Arms cards from your deck to your hand. I still think he's solid even at 1. Lastly, of the Noble Knight and Noble Knight support cards is 1 copy of Gwenfar, Queen of the Noble Arms. This is probably the most busted card that Noble Knights have to offer. Me and Olaf were actually talking about how fair Noble Knights are, and to be honest, they're a very fair deck. There's no busted components to them. But Gwenfar doesn't really follow that side. Now, allow me to read the card so I know exactly which effects are which. I know it gains an effect when it's equipped to a light monster, and I know it gains an effect when it's equipped to a dark monster, and that you can equip this card from your hand or graveyard to a monster you control. When it is equipped to a light monster, it would be destroyed by a card effect. You can destroy this instead. And if it's equipped to a dark monster, when it battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. So it's a really good card for being able to out your opponent's situations or just protect your monsters. I really like Gwenfar in this deck. That's it for all of the Noble Knight monsters and their support. We actually run quite a bit of hand traps, you guys. And if you guys can't afford these hand traps, don't worry. We got a couple of options for you guys to be playing. Firstly, 2 copies of Effect Veiler. I feel like you guys should be able to afford Effect Veiler. It's the cheapest hand trap out right now. I think the cheapest is $1 each. It's really good for disrupting your opponent and gaining monster effects. Next is 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is overall the best hand trap against most matchups. Let's put it that way. It's not the best hand trap of the format, but it's the overall best hand trap because it allows you to disrupt your opponent. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This card pretty much comes for cheap as well. It has so many rarities, it's ridiculous. This card is one of the best hand traps of the format, being able to destroy face-up cards on your opponent's side of the field. And then 2 copies of Droll and Logbird, which is the best hand trap because it defeats the best decks of the format. Now, the reason why we run so many hand traps is because we run 0 traps inside of the main board. All of our spells, or most of our spells, are equipped spell cards, and we have no protection for ourselves. If you guys can't afford some of these hand traps, running multiple copies of Effect Veilers or Ghost Ogres, or even Droll and Locks, which aren't relatively expensive, are fine. You don't have to main board Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring. It's just really important that you run some form of protection in form of not having to set or activate spell and trap cards, because they're normally clogged by your equipped spell cards. That is it for the monsters in the deck, which I believe puts us at 24. We run 16 spells, 3 called by the grave. This is going to prevent our opponent from hand trapping us, but even more importantly, you can hit certain other cards in your opponent's side of the field or in their graveyard to prevent them from popping off. Next is 3 copies of Glory of the Noble Knights. Live with honor, die with glory. I'm sorry, Reinhardt's just really getting to me. I'm getting the feels right now. This card is amazing. You can target a Noble Knight monster you control and equip an equipped spell card from your deck to your side of the field. It really allows you to pop off with Drystan, and sometimes when your opponent activates card effects that you don't want to happen, you can equip it with the appropriate Noble Knight card and make your opponent pay for it. So for example, if your opponent attacks, I don't know, your Isol, which has 1600 attack, you chain this little bad puppy and you equip Noble Arms Gallatin, and it gains 1000 attack. It's pretty good at doing stuff like that. Next is 2 copies of Noble Arms Excalibur. This is the most powerful powerful equipped spell in the deck. and it's also the worst equipped spell in the deck at the same time. Like I said, they did a really good job at balancing the deck, a little too balanced. The reason why it's the worst is because unlike all of the other Noble Arms cards, this card can't re-equip when it is destroyed by an opponent's card effect. But I guess the good thing about it is that the Noble monster cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects, and also during the turn, or during the next turn that it's sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to basically gain another Xyz monster to your side of the field. It's very powerful in its own right. Next is 2 copies of Noble Arms Destiny. This is the second best, and its effects are pretty good. It makes the monster indestructible by battle or card effect once time only, and again, this is a card that when it's destroyed, it will re-equip. We run 1 Gallatin. This gives the opponent gives a monster 1,000 attack and then decreases it by 200 during each standby phase. Again, very balanced. Caliburn, which allows you to gain 500 life points per turn. I think a monster also gains 500 attack. Arthur Dircher, I can never say this card right. Decreasing a monster attack by 500 to destroy a set card on your opponent's side of the field. And then Clarent, this card's trash. Like, you pay 500 life points and that monster can attack directly or something like that. Yeah, you pay 500. The only reason why you run it is because it's another Noble Arms name that you can send with ESOL. Other than that, it's not great. I mean, attacking directly could be game. Actually, now that I think about it, let me retract that statement, because you make some pretty big monsters, so attacking 4 game could be good, but I just wish it had a better effect. 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. I mean, all of your monsters are warrior. And then 1 copy of Last Chapter of the Noble Knights. This is a good recovery card. It allows you to just make so many plays after the fact or after your board has been broken. That's it for the spells at 16. There are some cards that I really thought about playing, and I decided to go against them. First is the Sky Striker engine, and it's the reason why I didn't play the Sky Striker engine. So if you guys are trying, really want to try hard and play Sky Strikers in there, go for it. But more often than not, if you have Sky Strikers, you're probably better off playing other decks if you're trying to win, if you're trying to have fun. Perfect, go for it. And if you guys could afford Sky Strikers, I mean, again, like, why play? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the deck, but unless you're having fun, it's no reason. You can run more copies of Borz if you guys choose to. Again, I already explained why I don't run Borz. What I really liked in this deck was Noble Knight Hector and Lady of the Lake. Now, if Lady of the Lake, I don't have a copy of that card. I don't know why I couldn't find it. But if Lady of the Lake was a warrior monster, there would be some insane combos with Lady of the Lake and Hector. But unfortunately or not, Hector can banish 2 Noble Knight monsters from your graveyard to summon himself. Your Noble Knight monsters are a little useless compared to your Noble Arms, so he becomes a really easy card. Gwen, I don't run enough normal monsters. I run 4, and so he's not really optimal. Gualva Chad is just not a great card anymore. I don't think he ever really was a good card. And then another Noble Arms and your other Noble Arms cards, it's just, they're just cloggy. You don't really necessarily need that many equipped spell cards. Of course, Ignite of High Landsland, or Ignoble Knight of High Landsland, he is a beast with the Lady of the Lake combo. I'll show you guys the combo later, but he actually works really well with Custinin, and that's why I was like, I really want to play that. But unfortunately, not only do I not have Lady of the Lake, I really don't have the space to play it. Onto the extra deck, 2 copies of Sacred Noble Knight King Custinin. Not only is he a board breaker card, getting rid of your opponent's cards on the side of the field, but when he's destroyed, he gets to replace himself with a Noble Knight monster of your choice to your side of the field. So 2 copies of Sacred Noble Knight King or Artigerus. This card not only destroys face-ups, but is your strongest Noble Knight monster inside of the extra deck. He also does a lot of great things, like destroying your opponent's cards, equipping cards from your graveyard to your side of the field. He's the boss man. Next is we run 2 copies of Artigerus, King of the Noble Knights. He's actually the easier monster to go into now, mainly because, again, you run a lot of 4s and you want to make your 4 play. No homo. You want to make rank 4 plays summoning him. He has the exact same effect of Artigerus. So while the deck did lose a little bit of power by not being able to easily access Artigerus, it did gain being able to summon Custinin easily and being able to summon Artigerus, the young one, to your side of the field. That's it for the Noble Knight monsters that we play in the extra deck. We play Boral Soul Dragon, Borolo Dragon, of course, to E-Soul, because you can summon this card out the wazoo and gain all of its effects. Nightmare Unicorn, Cerberus, Phoenix, Goblin, and Link Spider. All of these are generic. You can actually take these out and put whatever you want. I just use these because these are just generically good. That is it for the extra deck. For the side deck, I think this is pretty mandatory. 3 copies of Cyber Dragon. Not only is it good versus Cyber Dragon decks, it's good for being extra linked, which is pretty problematic for a lot of decks that love to go in their extra deck. I followed up with 2 copies of Chimera Tech Fortress or Mega Fleet Dragon because obvious. I mean, oh, how do I say it from my old deck profiles? Obvious reasons. One copy of Twin Twisters. Let me elaborate on this a little bit more. If they give you the Ibly, you tribute the Ibly, you summon the Cyber Dragon, and you take away both of the monsters from the extra monster zone. And then on top of that, not only do you have a Chimera Tech Dragon that's a pretty good attack. I mean, 3600 is pretty decent. You also prevent them from activating Trigate Wizard's effect because it doesn't have 3 points to it. Twin Twisters for back row destruction. 3 copies of Evenly Matched. If you guys cannot afford to evenly match, then of course Kaijus will do the same thing. 3 copies of Rivalry of the Warlords. Your entire deck is Warriors. It's saucy at breaking boards. And then 3 copies of Red Reboot for back row heavy decks. That's it for the main board, the extra deck, and the side deck. I hope you guys gather your arms, my friends, because I'm going to show you guys a pretty dope combo. Gather around to the table, guys. I'm going to show you guys a couple of awesome combos that Noble Knights can do. Now, there are so many variations to these combos that they're almost infinite, which allows the deck to consistently flow really nice. Almost like what would happen inside of a lake for the young man trying to attract a lady. Okay, that was terrible. I tried to make a lady of the lake plan, but that was just way beyond it. Let's get into these combos. The first is the 2-card combo that can be extended in so many different ways. It just makes your busted boards. You're going to need Noble Knight Mordred, or you can actually need, you can have Merlin in your hand, or, and you're going to need a Noble Knight card that can requip itself. I'm going to go ahead and use Noble Arms Gallatin because I like Noble Arms Gallatin. What you are going to do is normal summon the Mordred and then equip Noble Arms Gallatin to your Mordred, triggering Mordred's effect, now to special summon a Noble Knight Borz from your deck to your side of the field. Now, Noble Arms Gallatin would destroy itself because Mordred's effect, and you'd re-equip it to the Noble Arms Borz. Now you're going to use Noble Arms Borz's effect, and with that, you will reveal Noble Arms Destiny, Noble Arms Excalibur, and Gwenfar, Queen of Noble Arms. Now, this is where the combo gets a little bit tricky because there are so many ways to extend this combo and to make ridiculous boards. You can actually make 2 Noble Knight Exceed monsters under an E-Soul if you really wanted to, depending on your hand and your sequence. But we're just going to say for right now, the reason why I chose these 3 Noble Arms cards is because Gwenfar should always be a target for Borz. It's the only way you can consistently get Gwenfar to your hand or graveyard. And then these 2 are the best Noble Arms cards in the deck, and as well we play multiple copies. It'll allow us to be able to resolve our E-Soul once we get into that part of the sequence. So hopefully your opponent adds Noble Arms Destiny or Excalibur into your hand and Gwenfar goes to the graveyard. If any other way this happens, it's still fine. You can still do your combos, but having Gwenfar in the graveyard is such a plus. The last thing you want to do for this particular sequence is use both Borz and Mordred for your Sacred King Noble Artigerist. That will go into the extra monster zone, but now you can activate Artigerist to equip both the Excalibur and Gallatin, then activate the Destiny, as well as equip the Gwenfar. That would be the normal 2-card combo. You'd have a pretty strong Artigerist, 3700 attack, or 3200 attack, can't be targeted, can't be destroyed twice, just really powerful. But let's rewind on the combo a little bit. I'm going to take you guys back. We're going to say I had Destiny in my hand, and we're going to take it back and we're going to extend this combo a couple of times. Our first extension is going to be with Noble Knight Custenin, and we're going to special summon it to our side of the field using both Mordred and the Custinin for a link summon of E-Soul. Now, E-Soul is going to summon itself to the side of the field and then use its effect to add another Custinin from your deck to your hand, and also giving you the ability to normal summon. From there, you're going to send 5 equipped spells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with different names to special summon Ector to your side of the field. And now, since Ector and Borz are both level 5 monsters, you can use both of these monsters for an Exceed summon of Sacred Noble Knight Artigerist. Now, this is going to give you so much extensions because now I have every single Noble Arms card in my arsenal in the graveyard, and I can use it how I so please. Normally, I'm going to equip the Gallatin, I'm going to equip the Destiny, and I'm going to equip the Excalibur, and then I'm going to equip the Gwenfar. Now, we do have an additional normal summon, and it can be extended twice more. That normal summon could be used to normal summon Noble Knight Brothers, and since you play so many copies of the card, it's very easy for you to have a card like that in your hand. Using Brothers effect to return 3 of your Noble Arms cards back into your deck to draw a card. That's going to put you another card ahead. And also, this card combo can be extended yet again. Yes, it can be extended again. If you can destroy one of your opponent's monsters with Sacred Noble Knight of Artigerist, you can use Ector's effect to banish 2 Noble Knight monsters to special summon Ector to your side of the field. And then you can use these 2 monsters, I'm sorry, you can use Isol, I'm sorry, you would place it right here. You can use Isol and Noble Knight Brothers for a link summon, and that would actually make Summon Sorceress. I didn't play it in the deck profile because, again, I don't play Ector. Summon Sorceress, where's my Summon Sorceress? Let me find Summon Sorceress real quick, guys. Okay, so I seem to have misplaced my Summon Sorceress, but fortunately, I'm pretty sure you guys know what the Summon Sorceress looks like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put Hippo Shinnigan as in placeholder for my Summon Sorceress, and then use Summon Sorceress effect if you guys play a second copy of Ector, or if you play the other Lanslin monster, special summoning it to your side of the field, and then using both of those monsters for an additional summon of another Sacred Noble Knight King Artigerus, which could then equip cards or destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field. Again, that combo does get deeper and deeper no matter what you do. It can make so many other cards. You can actually make the rank 4 Noble Knight. Instead of sending 5, you can send 4 and then make the 5 later. It just all depends on what you want to do, as well as have still 5 cards in your hand or 4 cards in your hand, depending on, or actually, I'm sorry, 5 cards in your hand, depending on how you sequence it. So that's what's so really powerful about Noble Knights. Now I'm going to show you a couple of other combos that I think you guys will love. Now the next combo is going to require a little bit of help from your opponent. You're going to need a monster, an opponent's monster that's under 2100 attack that you can destroy by battle. A Noble Knight monster in your graveyard. You're going to need Lady of the Lake. I'm going to use this blank card as a proxy, as well as Noble Knight Custinin. Now you could add an additional card of this combo to make it a little more litty. I'm just going to leave the Noble Knight Brothers right there, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. What you are going to do is normal summon Lady of the Lake, and then use Lady of the Lake's effect to special summon Noble Knight Drystan to your side of the field. The next thing you are going to do is banish your Lady of the Lake because you're using it for a synchro summon, and send the Noble Knight Drystan to the graveyard to special summon Noble Knight Lanslin. Now you're going to use Lanslin effect to equip a Noble Knight card from your deck to your side of the field. I kind of lied when I said you needed an opponent's monster under 21. Basically, you just need a monster you can destroy by battle, because you can equip anything to this card. You can equip the Caliburn, you can equip the Gallatin. The Gallatin's going to make him 3100 attack. So if your opponent has a card like Borloth, then this is an easy out to Borloth. You're going to use the Lanslin to attack into your opponent's monster, and then activate Lanslin's effect to add a Noble Knight monster from your deck to your hand. This time I'm actually going to add Noble Knight Brothers, so we don't need to initially add it or have it in our hand. In our main phase 2, we're going to special summon Custinin to our side of the field, and use both Lanslin and Custinin for a link summon of our Isol. Isol's effect is going to add us another Custinin from our deck to our hands. And then we're going to use Isol's effect, pitching 4 equipped spell cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, to special summon a Noble Knight Brothers to our side of the field. Use the effect of Noble Knight Brothers to shuffle 3 cards from your graveyard to your deck. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle you, and you to draw an additional card. And we still have not normal summoned, so we can go ahead and normal summon our second copy of Noble Knight Brothers. And if we wanted to, we actually could use its effect yet again. I'm going to go ahead and use this effect, shuffling you, and you to my deck to draw an additional card. And then we can use both Noble Knight Brothers as link summon, and we can use that for multiple cards. We can use it either into our Sacred Noble Knight King of Custinin, which has a 2500 defense, can rid your opponent's cards by detaching 2 materials, and also when it's destroyed, it replaces itself with a Noble Knight monster, which he will activate its effect, or the level 5 guy will activate its effect, equipping your equipped spells to the graveyard, or you can just get right into the down and dirty, make Artigerus and equip it with your last 2 equipped spell cards. That combo is going to leave you with 3 cards in your hand off of 1 card in your hand, 2 equipped spell cards to your Artigerus and Isol on your side of the field. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this Noble Knight deck profile. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you did not, comment down below which you think was wrong with it, whether it's aesthetic wise or just Noble Knight wise. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.